To open up this podcast, I have a question for y'all.
Oh God.
Okay.
What's the earliest you've ever been to an arrangement that you had?
Ever?
Yeah. just
Ever?
what's
Like-
the earliest
like
you've ever
anything?
been? Yeah, sure.
Probably like to a wedding, like 2 or 3 hours beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
What y'all
Yeah.
got?
Like is this something I arranged or like something I was a part of?
Something you were a part
Willer.
of that you showed up really early.
Like, is it on purpose or
No,
accidental?
I'm just asking. I'm going just answer
it's
the
a-
question.
like multiple hours,
Okay.
like-
cool.
like 3 to
Did
4
you,
hours.
did you show up a whole week or month early to this wedding?
So today I had a wedding I was supposed to go to.
Oh.
And it's the reason why we're recording today and not Friday. So, I might have gotten the date wrong. I might have gotten dressed, left work early a little bit, driven up to
Oh.
the venue. Well, actually, it turns out I didn't get the date wrong. I got the year wrong. It is indeed a September 10th in 2021.
God damn. Okay,
So
I guess
I-
Miller wins.
I get to the venue, and so it's my friend Dallas and Randy's wedding, and I know other people at the
Oh.
wedding, and I get there and I message two of them because like I got there, it was from 6 to 11, and I'm like, oh
Jesus.
dude, I'm getting there at 6. It's gonna be great. I get there, the place is locked down, but then like where we should be parking for the wedding, as far as I'm aware, there's a bunch of people with rollerblades. Like they're having like a rollerblade convention in Austin.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, this
Yeah.
doesn't seem like the wedding party. So I get there and I message Mariah and Ryan, and I'm like, hey, where do I park? What the heck? And they're like, boy, do I have news for you. Mariah was like, wow, you're quite a bit early. I'm like, oh, I showed up at 6. Should I come back at like 7 or 8? And then I get a message from Dallas. He's like, dude, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry, but the wedding's in 2021. And I just start cracking up in the car.
Oh my God.
By the way, I've majorly trespassed into the building now because the entrance was closed, but the exit was not. And it said, do not enter from this exit. And I'm like, but the wedding's here. I'm sure I can get away with it. So I go in through the exit while they're closed, see no one, see a sign that says staff only past this area, drive through there because I'm like, I'll see someone and ask them about the wedding. And then I get these messages. So I drive home like cracking up. And it's hilarious because like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I text the bride of the wedding. And I'm like, hey, I still haven't got the invitations and I just don't want to miss it. And all that. She's like, oh, okay. Well, here's the website and all that. So it must have been really confusing. I also bought them their gift today, and they were like, what the fuck?
Oh.
Until they saw it. So my record's 1 year. I just wanted to...
Yeah, I'll say you asked the question, and I was like, "Oh, Willer probably showed up a day early for something and wants to like
I do
get
get
our
a wedding.
answers."
Said it. I did not expect a year. I thought it was going to be a month.
I didn't expect a year. Are you kidding me? And I was like, it's kind of weird to have a wedding on a Thursday, but it's 2020 and like everything sucks. It's kind of a shit show year. So
Also,
whatever.
like, they just got engaged because I'm friends with them as well. Like
I
6
had a
months
lot
ago,
of
or whatever it
questions.
was.
Yeah, I had a lot of questions, but I rolled with it, and I should have asked more questions. I
Brandy-
suppose.
The bride's pregnant. They're like, we gotta get this done now.
Here's my suggestion: is whatever you bought them, you might as well open and use because you are going to lose that gift in a year.
I bought it. So have you ever gone to a wedding where they use the website Zola? It's like this wedding website that a bunch of the wedding I went to before this also used it. They have a registry there where you can crowd fund gifts for the bridal party.
Oh yeah.
So that's really nice. I just bought one through there. So they must have got. So they said that they got the notification for it at like 5 because I'm always like I buy the gifts last second because I'm horrible at this kind of shit.
Well, not last second. This
Not
time.
now.
I told them at least I'm the first guest that showed up. Now I can make double wedding jokes and all that. Anyways, what's been going on in y'all's weeks?
Oh gosh.
let's see. Over the past month, I beat Space Marine, which is a Warhammer 40,000 game that came out years and years ago. Like I was in high school. That game holds up and is still really good. 5-minute review being that if you have any passing interest at Warhammer 40,000, just kind of want to know what the settings are like, play that game. It's perfect.
Nice.
You literally feel like a little toy soldier running around a tabletop battlefield kind of scenario. Looks great, feels great. Other than that, just I've been painting dudes constantly.
Painting dudes.
I painted trees and I shared the pictures on my Twitter and with these fools. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been
Joe
doing.
started his post-grad school again.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I
Semester's back
did.
on.
I did.
Yeah, the student
Yeah.
of the group.
Ew.
Reluctant student of the group. I'd rather have a job and be making money.
It
But hey,
is what it is.
is
Yeah, boy.
What else? What else you people got?
Dude, my free time has just been spent on my little side project.
Which I don't know if
The
you've talked
website I'm
about it
working on.
ever on the pod. Do you want to
yeah.
give a little
Nah,
introduction?
not yet.
Okay.
I don't like to do a big reveal
Yeah.
if
me
I'm not
neither.
super far along, because then it's like you get the praise for doing a project without actually completing it. It's like I want to wait. I
A
want to wait
lot
for
of
it to be
people
complete.
say that getting that feedback kills the enjoyment of and the drive to work on stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like
you-
I've
you
run
already
into
got the
that in the
kudos.
past. Yeah. So, do you want to at least say what it is in a general sense, or is that also?
It's a browser-based card game.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I just made really good progress on it today, so I feel very good about myself, and I feel very productive today.
Nice. Tyler, what you got going on?
So I started playing Civ 6 again.
Yeah.
This might be
Oh.
topic worthy. Yeah, let's save this for later. 'cause
Probably.
Let's
Okay.
save it this week. So
Because we got like
Okay.
8 of our friends playing it.
yeah.
So I started reading Demon Slayer, the manga.
Yeah.
So
You bought physical.
this is my first ever like manga I've ever purchased. Y'all got me reading finally.
Nice.
Yay.
I know Demon Slayer is not going to. So they have the movie coming out, and now that I've read ahead, I know what the movie is going to be about. And it turns out this movie is only going to cover one volume.
Oh wow. So it's the
Maybe-
movie is canon. So it's like it's an OVA or
Oh
like-
yeah, oh yeah. No, the movie's definitely canon. I think they're going to follow
Wow.
like how Sword Art did their movies, where their movies were canon.
Mm. Isn't that how Seven Deadly like some of the content is movies set with Seven Deadly Sins?
Seven Deadly Sins isn't. It might be side content, but I think it's non-canon.
Okay. That's cool.
Seven Deadly Sins is Did we talk about that? Have we spoke about that yet?
We talked about it in our
We
pre-talk,
talked
I
it-
think.
Yeah, when we did our tier list, we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we did our tier list. That's when we talked about it.
Well, they had that newest season come out, and I can't fully talk about that yet because I haven't finished it. So yeah. But Demon Slayer's really good. I figured out that like I may have a problem when it comes to manga volumes because I finish like one in a day. And like I can actually do like 5 or 6 in a day if I wanted to.
Yeah,
If
no,
I own them all.
Reading manga is real nice because you can go at a very good pace if you're a fast reader.
You can go
Yeah.
at your pace. It's great.
But I'm sad because I'm buying them, so that's like a lot of money I'm spending all at once.
It's a commitment. The way I see it is I've pirated manga and anime and video games all throughout my childhood. So now that I have disposable income, I do my due diligence to support my creators.
Yeah.
fair. But
I
it's
pay my
really
$3
good.
every month.
And it makes me a little bit. So here's my thing about Demon Slayer though, is the anime.
So good, from what I can tell.
It is so good, and like while I'm reading through it, I still feel like the impact a little bit. But oh man, the anime's animation combined with their musical score that they have in the background for it is just oof. There's like this theme that plays whenever they're fighting demons, and it just like increases the intensity of the moment that even the manga is really well drawn, and it's got some great impact lines. Like the action's great. I can tell like what's going on. But still, like anime, way better. but I'm glad I get to enjoy the rest of the story.
Speaking of Demon Slayer, we may do something more with it on this podcast. We've been tossing around some ideas. I might.
It is complete, by the way.
Yeah, that's always nice.
That's kind of another big thing too.
It's nice and short and at like a healthy length.
What's the total chapter count?
I think it's 26 volumes.
Yeah, so I think it's like in the early 200s is where it ends.
Yeah,
8 times 26.
For a shonen, that sounds a little short.
Well, it depends. Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
We've seen some shit keeping up with the shonen releases, huh?
Oh, well, I mean, unless it's like Act Age getting
205.
So many shonen get canceled.
We don't talk about that cursed.
Well, I mean, it's short for a complete shonen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm
related with 181.
I'm full weeb now. I own manga. I spent money on it.
You're not full weeb
until you
Joe.
Until you have an anime girl catch you.
I was just about to say that. So you're all right.
You're one step away.
I have a Rick Sanchez pop figure. Does that count?
That just makes you a fucking loser, but not a weeb. That's different.
It was gifted to me. I cherish it.
Yeah, that's what we said about Joe's Robin statue that we're gonna get him. It was gifted to him.
We all know what that's gonna end up looking like. It's gonna end up like the shoebox.
I like having scented candles in my room. I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you ever seen that Feraligatr in a jar?
I don't know what that is.
Tyler
don't
knows.
worry about it.
I know.
Tyler knows. That's my boy.
I saw this Reddit post of a guy who was drawing like Feraligatr, like if he mastered Ice Fang, and it like had this hardened jaw, and it was like all slimy, like a more reptilian body. And I was like, oh, that's what happens with Feraligatr in the jar.
As for me, what have I been up to? Still playing Ghost of Tsushima. I got to Act 3 today, Joe. Hey, Joe, you got to Act 3, right?
Yeah, I'm at the very start of it.
As soon as you named your horse in that game, I predicted something, and I did not expect it to happen that early into the story.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it got me because I was like, I've been prepared for this, but not now. Game's great. I'm planning to finish it soon. Trying to mainline it at this point.
I need to get back on and finishing it because I kind of jumped off because I ended up switching over to like my hobby stuff and just doing that a lot. So that because I was like, I can't play Ghost of Tsushima and paint at the same time, so I had to pick one.
I've also been playing Dragon Quest XI. It's something I keep coming back to. Man, that game's incredible. The story arcs, that game makes me feel like I'm playing through One Piece because like every town you go has this fleshed out like location and story arc. Did you do the thing with the mermaid?
Yes, I did that. Yeah.
The way the mermaids talk are so fucking charming in this game.
Yeah.
Where they all talk in like a singy song rhyme. I don't know. Every place you go has like a charming gimmick like that.
It feels like an actual adventure.
Yeah.
And voice acting really helps in that, and like everyone, like every region is like a distinct different kind of accent and everything, and different style. So it does feel like going through One Piece, where you're just like, oh, now I'm here. Everything feels distinct.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
defend this game from a popular review video of it, Video Game Donkey did a review on this. Known RPG hater. And he fought this quid boss that he said he had to grind a bunch. I didn't have to grind at all. I just had to strategize.
Same.
So
I agree.
Just get good. I actually skip most of the fights, which makes playing that game really enjoyable because you can just run past enemies and like kind of strategize your way through it and not have to grind, which I always enjoy with these big RPGs.
It's got good sound effects.
Do they have anything unique about their like combat system in their turn-based RPG?
I wouldn't say there's anything unique. It's just so well executed. Your characters get so many attacks, and the skill tree gives them like pretty distinct little niches, to where it's like, I have this entire tool set of things I can use in combat, as opposed to like a smaller tool set in other. Like your tool set here is massive, and your party's pretty big at like 7, and they're all pretty distinct.
Yeah.
So they just designed it well with a basic system. It's Dragon Quest. It's pretty traditional. But
Yeah,
I'm
and
loving
like
it.
it's one of those weird kind of things where like you have Persona 5, which feels like the epitome of like JRPGs and where they're going and like how it could be like that 4-person party
Yeah.
can still be good and like kind of changing up the formula a little bit. But then you have Dragon Quest that takes you back to fundamentals and really like just shows you like why this genre was really liked in the first place and why it really took off and why it feels good. I think part of that too is like the combat feels fair in that game.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm being gypped at any point. And then at the points that I do die, I'm like, all right, I know what he does now. Let me rearrange my party so it does this instead. And now I can go into it and I'm good. I don't have to like go and grind or anything. I just have to change my action economy usage.
Yeah.
Tweaka.
I'm very much enjoying it, but it's something I go through slowly, as I do with most single player games.
Yeah.
Lastly,
I went through a bunch.
Ooh, go
Yeah.
Joe.
I was just saying, I went through that game like crazy, and then I got to essentially the time skip part, and then I kind of just stopped for a bit because like, I'm gonna slow down on this because I'm really, really making headway.
My one regret is getting it on the Switch because on one hand, I can play it in bed. On the other hand, even docked, like it looks considerably worse than the other versions. It's so fuzzy, but it's such a pretty game either way. I really like the art style.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. 2 other games that we could talk about since we've last done a podcast. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Rogue Legacy 2.
Oh, okay. I wanna talk about that a
Early
little bit.
access happened. If you never played here's the thing, if you never played the first one, you can wait on the second one to be finished. It's in early access and the entire game isn't done yet. It seems like it'll be like maybe 1.0 by the end of the year, but other than that, I'm not gonna lie. Other than a graphical change, it seems like the first one.
That's
'Cause
what I
I remember
thought when I saw it.
I was watching you play it, and you were like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more going on when the game is finished, but you were like, I feel like if I wanted to play this, I could just boot up the first one instead.
Yeah, it's pretty underwhelming from what I saw as far as like the biggest change I could see was this like kind of like puzzle platforming dungeon that's preset that you can enter within your runs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what exactly is going on there, but it's like the one different thing.
So that was kind of cool. So like, you know how like air dashing was such an important thing in the first one, and you could like min max like as many air dashes as you want. Well, they just made that like a standard artifact, like you get in Mega Man, and it's like, oh, now you can dash and air dash. But you only get one that I know of so far, and I'm kind of.
There's no way.
I hope so because I feel like getting multiple dashes was an integral part of the first game.
Doing either multiple jumps or multiple dashes is so important in Rogue Legacy 1. I play the shit out of Rogue Legacy 1.
I did too, and so I really like the concept of the artifact system. I just hope it gets fleshed out more than what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
They also have this really cool armor system that's not in the game yet, where like depending on what sets you're wearing together, you can mix and match them, and it's like you get set bonuses. But it wasn't in the version I played yet.
We Monster Hunter now?
Yeah, basically.
A lot of things have set bonuses. Come on now, Joseph.
Yeah. But other than that, like it does feel underwhelming. You get to play the first environment, which is literally the same as the first game. It's just the castle set.
Yeah.
And then you get the next set, and it's like this, like it looks like this forest biome, and then the third set is snow, and it feels just really identical to the first 3 themes, and I'm just kind of like, come on, like anything different a little bit.
We'll see. We'll keep our eyes out on that one.
Risk of Rain 2 1.0 launch.
A lot of people like that game.
Okay. Look, I played 1.0 with Tyler, and who else was playing with us? Austin?
Yeah.
The final boss of Risk of Rain 2. And like, I'm usually not even that big of a Risk of Rain guy. Like, it's kind of fun. I don't care about the setting a whole lot, but I like controlling the character that I do like controlling. So I'm usually not big on stuff that's in Risk of Rain 2. However, the final boss in Risk of Rain 2 is probably the coolest boss fight I've ever seen in a video game. I could not believe what I was seeing.
Those are
it
fight
was the
words.
hypest shit.
I need to see this shit.
It was unreal. And I was like, I would just go in to watch, because Tyler and Austin would like stream a run if they were playing it. I wouldn't be watching, but as soon as they said they were getting to the final boss again, I would go in to watch the fight because it is the coolest fucking shit.
Interesting.
I was a huge fan.
That's a high bar.
I really love Risk of Rain too, and like I've been playing it for the past year or so, like all the time. Like I was playing on Monsoon difficulty, like going for challenges. I like trying to do like really cool builds with people. 1.0 kind of added, like, you wouldn't think that a game in early access adds a lot of changes with like a single update, but they really did put like the finishing touches on this game that just kind of perfected their loop that I was not expecting. So Risk of Rain 2, if you don't know it, it's a roguelite third-person shooter. Very simple controls, and they have this like cast of characters with different abilities, and you go through these like environments, you kill stuff, gain money, spend it on chests. All the items you get are randomized, all right? And they have these printers where it's like, oh, here's a specific item inside of this printer, and say it's like of white rarity, okay? You can trade a random white item you own for like one of those like in the printer, and it's been at random and it just takes it. But they added this new other random element in the game called a scrapper. And on each level, there's a chance to be a scrapper. And you can scrap the items you don't want of that rarity type. And then when you go to the printer, it prioritizes that scrap over randomly taking out another item. And it's just because it's still based on chance, but it's really made it just feel so much better to get a better run out of your experience.
So you pick up scrap so that the printer is more likely to eat the scrap instead of an artifact that's benefiting you?
It 100% will eat the scrap.
Neat.
As opposed to something random. They added the boss fight. That's great. You can still go for the endless runs if you want to. They added a final last character in the game that's unique. Because a lot of the last few characters have been like repeated characters from the first game. But this last one was like completely unique, never been seen before. He's called the Captain. He has like really interesting mechanics. Because anytime there is a character that doesn't have any mobility like to their kit, it's like really they have more unique ways to play. And this is a game where, like, if you don't know, the whole gimmick of Risk of Rain 2 is to basically become God. It has infinite scaling in the game, and your goal is to literally become God. Like, people call the actual end game of Risk of Rain 2 is crashing your computer. Like, that is how you truly beat Risk of Rain 2, is when you crash the game, because there's so many particles on.
I feel like roguelikes go two directions. The ones where you barely survive, like Darkest Dungeon or like a Spelunky, and then the ones where you become as gods, like Risk of Rain and maybe Dead Cells. I think you could, or Binding of Isaac is a good one where like if you get the right build.
I feel like when I'm playing with Tyler and Austin, there will be 2 or 3 times each run where I'm like, "You're allowed to do that?"
Dude, and it's really cool because like as you play through it and you complete challenges just for playing the game, you unlock more artifacts and like equipment to unlock and like get out of these chests and everything. And it's so cool. It's so fun. If you haven't played it, go get you and 3 other friends. Go get it and play it by yourself. It's a really fun
getting
like,
friends.
Yeah, if you don't want friends, dude, I love playing Risk of Rain 2 by myself. I've done so many runs. I think it's like $20. It's like the best deal you could get out of a roguelite.
Nice. To end what I was going to say for my little section of free talk was I've recently rewatched Attack on Titan, dubbed this time. Couple of things to say. Tyler also started the dub. I think the dub is better.
2.
Oh, nice. You're in there.
Woo!
I think the dub is better than the sub, personally. There's something about English inflections that actually helps the tone of Attack on Titan, and the tone is what always rubbed me off in the first half of the first season. But I feel like with the ways the voice actors handle it, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I more clearly there's no ambiguity for what you're going for as far as tone now.
That that might also be like a foreign thing where like you're listening to it and they might be inflecting on a word, but you just really can't tell because you don't know how to. But you're right. Like I find that too in some other like that's how I feel about Death Note. Like Death Note's a whole drama. Like I can't imagine watching that not in English for me because a lot of it's talking in the way that someone talks to someone and what they inflect and how they like say something that's super important to the like dynamic of what's going on. And I feel like Attack on Titan's like that too.
I think dubs. I mean, dubs are pretty oftentimes, but I feel like there's so many different voices that you'll get in a dub. Like a confident dub, like Attack on Titan, will throw in some people with like some accents, or throw in some people that have like a little quirk with how they talk, and you super can't pick that up in Japanese voice acting. In fact, I want to say Japanese voice acting is more like homogenous, where it's like everyone's kind of playing the cool guy role in their own voice or the cute girl role in their own voice. Like there's these archetypes that I feel like people really fall into, and there's plenty of American voice actors like a Matthew Mercers of the world or Troy Bakers that kind of fall into a niche, but then there's a lot of like little offsets that I feel like are cool. The best praise I could give Attack on Titan with this new rewatch is as I was going through it, I was like, how was any of this a mystery to me? And that speaks to the volumes of how much my understanding of the world and the conflict I have now, to the point where it's like, all of this was so explicitly foreshadowed and showed, you just didn't have these little key bits of information that made it all connect. And as you're going through it, it all connects so seamlessly. Me and Tyler were having like a Discord conversation the other day about Joe, the scene with when they're doing that expedition in season 1, and like a certain enemy shows up, and the way that enemy acts makes so much more sense in hindsight. And in season 2 or 3, when you're seeing scenes with the core antagonist of the show, and you're like, oh my god, this all connects so well. But then also like foreshadowing for people's deaths becomes so obvious in hindsight. It's like, oh, I see what y'all did there now that I know that this character will die. Safe to say that I think Attack on Titan has now taken my number 3 spot of all anime and manga. It used to be Haikyuu. I think Haikyuu is 4th now. It's Attack on Titan now. That show, and honestly, Joe, all your complaints about it are kind of bullshit. They baffle me. Like, I don't understand.
I also read, so that was the other thing. I was just getting frustrated.
I don't know. Your whole complaint about there being too many flashbacks in season 2. I was like, there's one flashback episode of Historia and Krista, or Historia and Ymir, and then aside from that, it's minor stuff.
With Aaron and the other character, as they're talking about, and there's a throw involved in it, in the middle of that throw.
That one's amazing. That one's so good.
Joe's on crack.
Joe's on crack. Bradley does not get to have an opinion yet because he's like, I mean he can, but he's in the point of the show where I didn't like it. So if he even has a mild interest, it's more than I did at where he's at.
It's not even mild. I feel like Attack on Titan is a thing where I would heavily benefit from spoiling myself a little bit.
I think so.
Because I'm sure we've talked about it on the podcast at some point, where all of my favorite stuff is stuff I was spoiled on. Like
Bradley, this show has such juicy mysteries. Like I feel bad about it. It's like spoiling certain One Piece twists where it's like this has such careful build up where I just think you're in what, episode like 12? If you could push to like 16, that's when the show starts.
16 is when we decided it gets good.
Yeah, and that's better than One Piece that I think gets good at like 30, which is Arlong Park. So or JoJo's where you have to watch like all of part 1, which is genuinely like kind of shitty to get anything good.
Hey, don't hate on part 1. It's the only reason I watched part 2.
I know. It's not bad. I like it. But yeah, like it's the tone of Attack on Titan in the beginning and like the simplicity of its plot and characters is very apparent. But it also, looking back on it, I'm glad it started that way, because especially for characters like Eren and Mikasa that are kind of one note early on, it really benefits to see where they end up where we are.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like what elements of the story get added in.
Yeah, it's really simple, right, in the beginning?
Because like you said, at the very beginning, it's very simple, and I'm like, how do you keep this premise going for 3 seasons? And why is it like the highest rated anime of all time?
I think it gets pretty apparent once you hit that 16 mark, personally.
Yeah,
Man,
so I'm
the
like, there's
Delta-
got to be something added to the
Well,
setting.
I'll watch it with you once we're done with VLR, which me and Bradley are on the cusp of finishing Virtue's Last Reward. Next
God
session, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna
Again,
have
I
fun
would
talking about that.
Play and beat that game then.
Yeah,
I
do it.
would certify watching the dub.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Bradley and I were watching the dub together.
I think we were.
When we
but,
watched
man.
with all of us, it was the sub, but yeah.
Yeah. This is so. I think the quality is so great is because it actually airs on Adult Swim Toonami. Like
Mhm.
anything that premieres through there is actually like a really high quality dub.
Yeah, that's true.
The JoJo dubs were on that too, and I think after season 1, the JoJo dubs are actually pretty good with everything that they have,
Definitely.
and like I do
All
a
the-
really good job of
All the
voice
clips
casting.
I see from 3 and 4, I haven't seen many from 5, but the 3 and 4 clips are amazing. Like,
Yeah.
there's some really good dub moments there.
Billy-
Joe, where
Billy
were you
Cameron says
again?
Yosuke.
Yes.
What?
There's some, like, Josuke has some great stuff in the dub. Where were you in Attack on Titan again? Were you?
I'm on. I think it's Kenny. The
Yeah.
cowboy shows up.
Oh my God, Kenny. Saying Kenny's not a spoiler.
Is that his name? I forget.
Yeah.
I just remember
Yes.
laughing at his name because it's an English name and it's a Japanese show.
They all have like Anglo-Saxon weird names.
They do, but like they were pretty close to German-esque.
Yeah,
most of the
yeah,
time.
you're right.
Aaron, Levi, Jaeger, like it's like okay, and then there's Kenny. Kenny's the most.
That is pretty funny.
so-
Joe,
and-
you just need. Oh my God, if you can get to, even you would like the rest of season 3.
Well, the thing is,
even
like,
you.
after I finished season 2, like I enjoyed it. It's just it's once again like the dub problem. Like I know the dub is now good now from what you've said. I'll probably just switch to that and just watch all of that.
You can paint while you
They're on
watch.
out.
We'll all win. Everybody wins.
What'd you say?
You can paint while you watch.
I know that's the great point. Is because I have a new setup now where
So
I put a little TV tray in front of my TV so I could do it and watch TV at the same time.
That's
It's
very
great.
cute.
So while I was watching the dub, I noted to Willer that the guy who does the English voice for Aaron, is that the main character? Yeah. He also
Yeah.
voices Kirito from Sword Art Online. But that kind of like puts it to shame how diverse this guy's voice acting is. He also does some Blue Exorcist where he does Rin Akamura, Tiz Orier from Bravely Default.
Oh, he's Tiz. I love Tiz's voice. Oh, it's
He's
Bryce
Tiz.
Papenbrook, so he's all over the place. But
He's Durarara. He's like been an Ajin, Soul Eater Not, Fate Stay the Night. He does Meliodas in Seven Deadly Sins.
yeah, that's about right.
Wow.
Adrian in Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir.
That's a Bradley one. Shout outs to Bradley. Woo woo.
Yeah, he's also Tiz in Bravely Second. Yeah, dude, this guy is just amazing. I was like, wow, this guy has really got a good
It's just it.
portfolio to him.
Anyways,
Good voice actor, good.
got to your
Voice
show.
actor, good.
As I was rewatching, I would hit points where I'd have to pause and just put my hands in, like, put my head in my hands and be like, "Oh my God, I have so many thoughts about what I just rewatched." It's,
Dude, I rewatched an episode today where someone got eaten, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I do not remember it being this gruesome.
yeah.
Like-
Apparently, the manga's gorier, and I'm glad that it's toned down because, again, I don't like the grimdark tone. Was a barrier for me to cross, so I'm glad that it's toned
Yeah.
down for the anime.
I'm really happy it is. I struggled to watch it today. I was like, oh my God.
I
But
want
it-
my cathedrals.
One last
I was
thing.
like,
Did you get to
it's
the?
different.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I was gonna say it's different hearing someone in English die than Japanese.
Yeah, I'm so used to the Japanese gargles of death.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh.
It's more real when it's a sound that I would make. Uh, oh, Tyler wants a beer. Tyler, did you get to the season 2 episode? The one that like I jizz all over. Did you get to that one?
Mm-mm.
I've
The one with the guy
been
on the wall?
rewatching that scene like yeah. I've been rewatching that scene
Okay.
constantly in the dub.
So I just got to the point where they're in the castle
Oh, that part's so
And-
good.
and some
Yeah, that's a
shit
great-
happens.
Did you
and
notice that
fucking-
person like about to bite themselves when shit was
No,
going
no,
down?
not that yet.
Okay.
Not that yet. They just like got the alarm that they're being surrounded, and not Berthold, but who's the other one?
Reiner.
Reiner.
Reinhardt?
He's fucking looking at this piece of paper, this random piece of paper, and he looks over and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Can anybody read this?" And then he looks over and sees where it came from, and she's just like deadlocked, eyes glaring at him.
That
Like,
scene with Reiner and Ymir talking about the canned food is big brain shit.
I just can't believe I didn't see this when I was watching it in Japanese.
Anyways, whenever you do watch that scene, you were talking about Bryce Papenbrook's voice acting. Titan Aaron has like a gargly, like weird ass voice. It sounds really cool. The way he yells "Damn you traitors" is forever burned in my head. All right, let's get into like proper topics. That was a fun.
Yes, yes.
We
Correct,
don't
yeah.
we don't have much today, but what we do have is pretty big because we've all been enjoying a certain game together, called One Step from Eden.
Y'all, it's so good.
Before we
I
do
can't
One Step from
stop
Eden,
playing
though,
this game.
let's do a quick like Crystal Chronicles as well because we
Uh,
all play that a bit together. Bradley, why
Dude,
don't
It's
you?
actually kind of
Why don't
I've
you
been
talk
playing-
a little bit?
I've been playing the fuck out of this.
Yeah, I see you playing it every once in a while.
I need to get online and play more with Bradley this weekend.
Because this was like me and my brothers and my cousin. This was our game growing up.
Yeah.
We've been playing the fuck out of this week. And so Crystal Chronicles Remastered, it's really strange. There's a lot of things they did so right and a few things they did so wrong that it's like it balances the scale with the amount of things they did right.
Damn.
It's so obviously it looks a lot nicer than it did on the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can see how it would have been a GameCube era game still. There's online. You can connect to people online. That's fucking cool. Cross-platform, by the way, between Switch and PS4.
Yeah, that's dope.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's like an unexpected but very welcome feature.
Hell yeah.
It's becoming more and more common, and it should be. I think it's a great idea.
And a remaster though that didn't originally have
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And there are certain, I don't know if I'd call them hidden features of the game, but it's just features people
Don't know.
usually did not know about. Like certain foods will temporarily increase certain stats during a level. Me and my brothers never knew about that, but in the game, now in the item description, it says, oh, temporarily increases your defense. Like,
That's good.
oh, wish I knew about that. Also, a big part of Crystal Chronicles is the spell fusion. And used to, for a get like you and another person are casting a spell and you like overlap where your spell is targeting and you let go at certain times to cast a spell. Used to, in the GameCube, you had to memorize the timings for spell fusion to know when to let go to properly cast Blizzaga. Now a meter pops up and it shows you a zone. Like, oh, if you let go in the zone, it'll cast
You
Blizzaga.
didn't get the meter in the past?
No.
wow.
That seems
So, like,
impossible.
Unplayable.
You had to like it was possible. Like we would get to the point where we could just do back-to-back Blizzagas, but you had to like it was huge muscle memory. It was huge
Jesus,
muscle.
That's crazy.
That's nah.
That's wild.
Well, I guess counterpoint being that like you're sitting in the room with the person, so it's a lot more. They're able to
Yeah.
communicate better.
Yeah, but you're all 11-year-old fuck faces. You're not gonna know how to communicate or figure out which spell exists.
So that
We would just yell at each other like, "Why did you let go?"
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
It sounds fun, but
now
now.
the problem that arises with this new online multiplayer cross-platform Crystal Chronicles is that previously, so whenever you have a Crystal Chronicles file, it's called a caravan, and a caravan can hold up to like 8 players, and usually your caravan was tied to your memory card. And so whenever you're playing with you and 3 of your buddies, you're doing 4-player, you all load up your characters off the memory card, you're all in the same caravan. So when you beat a level, you all progress together because progression's tied to that caravan. However, in this new one, when you're playing online with people, everybody has their own system, everybody has their own caravan. So when you beat a level, only the person hosting progresses.
Yeah.
So if you're playing 4-player, you're gonna have to beat that level 4 times with everybody, which kind of fucking sucks.
That's kind of like the killer to me. Like it's just it just sucks because you then spend like 2.5 hours of not making progress basically because you have to get everyone caught up.
Yeah, we played
And
like a
it
solid 2
feels
hours
bad.
and we made fuck all progress when we played.
Like I just it just is a bummer. It just feels bad because you just sit there and you're trying to like get through and you want to play with your friends, but then like oh well, we forgot to do it with Tyler, so we can't go through this gate yet. So we have to go back and do that whole quest with him. And then we have to go do it, and then like the quests aren't long, but they're not necessarily like super short either.
It seems more like a game where it's almost more enjoyable if you're playing alone with randos, because then you don't have the burden of like keeping your whole squadron up to date. You just kind of go help people, and then have people help you, and you can jump on and off. At least that's what I would think.
So
it is kind of nice where, if your friends aren't online, you can host and just have randos jump in, and then you can get that multiplayer experience, whereas the only way you could ever get the multiplayer experience in the GameCube version is if not only you had the friends, but also you had 4 link cables, 4 Game Boy Advances that were fully charged.
Yeah. I think another big thing about this game, and it's part of the game's dynamic, but like it's just to me is like, so part of the big gameplay in the lore of it is that like there's a huge like toxic mist throughout the entire land, but there are these crystals that like dispel the mist away from you. And the whole point of you going out caravanning is you have to like basically recharge your crystals in your hometown village, if I'm correct, Bradley.
Yeah.
That's like the more or less of it. So the mechanic is you have a smaller crystal that you carry around, and there's a bubble that you and your party like fall around in, and you do all your stuff in there. Which is, I think, a fine mechanic. The problem I have is with the camera, because the camera just focuses on this like crystal that you're supposed to be carrying around. And when you have like 4 different screens, it just kind of feels clunky and old when I'm like doing my own thing here, and I want to run off and go get this chest real quick. And it's like I'm not going to die doing it, but like the camera is still locked onto this crystal.
In all fairness, for the limitations of its original release, that is a pretty brilliant design decision.
No,
I
agree.
Yeah, it just doesn't translate very well to modern age.
Yeah, that's not a huge complaint. It's more of like this is what the game is. I kind of just wish they like would have unlocked the camera for you if you did get far enough away, so that way it could still track you and point you in the direction of the crystal. Because like, if you're doing something and your party just leaves, you can just like lose track of where you were, and you could be like trying to get back, but you're running into walls or some other shit.
Yeah, it does make a lot more sense on the GameCube because like for a game like this, they didn't want to do 4-person split screen, obviously, because there's a lot going on. But whenever everyone has their own Switch, everyone could have their own camera.
Yeah.
My problem with the game, and I don't know, I need to play more. I really don't want this to be a game that I paid $40 for and only play 2 hours, but I kind of have a almost friendship ruining problem. I think the combat's just kind of terrible. I think it's so basic. The spell fusion's not quite doing it for me, but I will say there was some serotonin released from my brain. Is that the one? That's the one. Whenever we did Blizzaga, like I did feel things. But like it is kind of a clunky system, and it's like I can't imagine playing anything but a spell thief or like a mage, because the melee attacks are terrible because you have to time them. It's ugh. And then the charge attack is pretty underwhelming.
It's kind of weird because Y'all didn't really, or I say y'all, maybe we, except I wasn't there when you guys made your characters. You're supposed to kind of think about your team composition a little bit. For example, none of us took the melee class, which has different melee attacks. Even Selkies, all their charged attacks are different. Like one shoots a ranged attack, one calls down meteors.
Okay, so there is something there with the
spell fusion was really fucking hard because usually you have 1 to 2 spellcasters tops. All 4 of us were trying to cast spells, which made spell fusion really hard and confusing. Because, like, here's the thing: my cousin's boyfriend, whose video game experience ends at Pac-Man, pretty much never played a game before this. Me and him were doing back-to-back Blizzagas.
Damn.
I don't think it's that hard. I just think we had 4 people trying to cast spells nonstop.
I'm not saying it was hard. I'm just saying it's kind of clunky because you have to move the circle. And what is hard is that the circles are not well color-coded or, like, in any way, as far as I could tell. So it was hard to tell which circle is which.
You can't tell, like, which one's yours and which one's someone else's, and yeah.
I just don't know how much I enjoy the gameplay of carry... Like, one person carries the thing, and all of y'all kind of clunkily hold the attack button, the charger moves, and... What does interest me is, like, the ear progression system. If I do go back to this game, it would be to figure out what's going on with that.
Because, like, for example, one of the levels we did, the Mushroom Forest, there's a whole wing of the level that's blocked off, and you come back on the second cycle of that level... And, like, these mushrooms have grown, creating a bridge over to this new wing that you couldn't access before. And there's, like, stronger enemies, new chests, stuff like that.
Yeah. I need to give it a second go. All of that sounds pretty neat. And maybe the combat will grow on me as I get maybe more options. Who knows?
I need to figure out whatever class was the melee class, because I chose, like, the human character that I thought would have, like, a little bit more melee stuff to them.
The Lilties. The Lilties... attack stat is fucking unreal, and their charge attacks are so good.
Are there 4 classes? Or...
class? There's 4, yeah.
It's the race you pick at the beginning.
Is the Lilties the midget class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we all pick class. 2? Did we all go into 2 of the classes?
I picked the big titty class.
Okay, I picked...
Yeah, they gave Selkies mad jiggle physics in the remaster for some reason.
I picked the knight. Bradley, that was a seductive bite. Bradley also picked the knight, but he, like, wears a costume. And Tyler picked the human. So we have 3 of the classes. How are we all magic casters then? What happened?
Because, no, I'm saying all of y'all were trying to cast spells.
Okay. We're not supposed to all be magic casters, I see.
Yeah.
Was Tyler the one who was supposed to be playing melee then?
I was meleeing.
I was trying to melee, but I just couldn't get it down.
I was trying to cast Cure every now and then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anywho, mysterious
anyway, it's
game.
my fucking game.
Very unique game.
I like it a lot. I just wish it had more incentive to, like, I wouldn't mind, like, not gaining any progress as long as there's, like, some more random loot other than, like, food and, like, ore and stuff, which is still
you get,
pretty
like, plus
good.
1 strength.
There's that
You
thing
get plus
you
1
get
strength, plus 1 health. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You guys don't even know.
We don't.
So, there's all kinds of artifacts you can get. For example, like I just got one the other day that increases my casting range by like double, so I can cast from all the way across the screen.
Hey.
Or there's ones that make you charge up your charge attacks like twice as fast. Or there's ones that make you immune to the curse status effect. We just didn't get far enough to get these.
Are those permanent? So like curse is just forever not an issue now?
It's only during that particular level. It's not like Dark Souls Curse, where it's like you have to go find an NPC, but it's a status effect kind of like
No,
poison
I
or
mean
something.
like if you get that like thing at the end of the level, you are forever immune to curse.
So there's 2 different ways to get those permanent artifacts. You choose it at the end of the level, or you craft it in a city.
Damn. So that's like if you get one of those, you eliminate a potential game mechanic as a problem. I don't know how I feel about that. That seems OP. What you eating, Bradley?
I mean, it's not OP. That's just how you play the game.
What you munching on?
Sugar.
Nice. The other game, this one we've all played quite a bit from
It
what I
was
can
so
tell.
yeah, it was kind of funny because we went into this weekend. We were celebrating Dallas' birthday. And we kind of just all went to a thing like, all right, we're gonna play. When we go out and play games, we come for an awesome weekend. We usually pick one game. That's the game we play that entire weekend. And I think all of us went into thinking that we were gonna play Crystal Chronicles for the weekend. That's what we were gonna do to pass the time. And then Willer had a game that ended up taking our entire attention away from that game and basically made me forget I even spent $40 on that one game.
we were all together for the weekend to like
Yeah.
hang out just casually, like, and Willard's like, "Oh, I might play this game some."
Yeah.
Little did we know.
I think what happened is Tyler got here early, and you went home that night, and me and Bradley are like, "All right, let's give this a look." And then I think we stayed up till like 1 or 2 playing.
Yeah,
One
Willer
Step from Eden.
had to kick me out. Like he had to kick me out at like 2 a.m. Because like the thing is, we were playing Smash Bros. And then Willer's like, "Hey, Bradley, I got 1 Step from Eden. Like, you want to try a versus with me? We can see how the game is." I was like, "All right, I'll check out Willer's game." And then like he ended up having to kick me out because it was so fucking fun. We booted it up. First thing I noticed, all the characters are super cute girls with I think pretty cool designs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we found out about the gameplay. Or Willer already knew about the gameplay. I found out about the gameplay, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were actually sidetracked by something even before 1 Step from Eden.
Yeah, Smash Brothers Spirits, which is worth a shout out.
Oh yeah.
So if you've never played Smash Brothers with the spirits turned on as like a party mode, it is super fun. We made a bunch of spirit sets. We experimented. We made sets for certain characters. We made overall sets where it's like, oh, I'm playing a swordsman. Let me use the broken Tyler build that he made for swordsman. We had a shit ton of fun. That's gonna happen again. It's gotta.
Because like my favorite
I didn't
spirit build, for example, was like there's a spirit that makes it so when your whenever your like health percentage is super high, you get like super strong, right? And also there's one that whenever you take a bunch of damage, you turn giant. So I put that on Lucario, right? Who already gets strong when he takes a lot of damage. And like there was a point, I think I was playing against Tyler, and he was kicking my ass, and then I turned giant as Lucario, and I shot like an aura ball that takes up the whole stage.
So
And it's
big.
just like
It looked like a
Spirits
final
is super
final
fun.
smash.
I wasn't expecting it because we all made our spirits and we're like, all right, now I'm gonna blindfold myself. And Bradley made his spirits, so then he turned giant. I was like, what the fuck?
so it took hundreds of hours of playing Smash Ultimate, but we found out Sakurai was right. He didn't put spirits in the game for no reason. They're actually fun.
They are really fun.
The subset of players that have played with spirits must be astronomically low because it does take some setup and some bravery to jump into such a wild world. It's crazier than just playing with items because like you can get some weird shit. Anyways, One Step from Eden is a
Yeah.
grid-based card battler roguelike, much like a fusion of Mega Man Battle Network and Slay the Spire. It's very It's very clearly inspired by both of those, with a little bit of Undertale to like date when it was being produced, with the Spare and Mercy system. If you've ever played Mega Man Battle Network, you're on a grid. In Battle Network, it is 2 3x3s, where one is your side of the grid and the other is the opponent's side. In this game, it is a 4x4.
4x4.
Yeah.
I think
So,
Mega Man
2
Battle
4x4.
Network 6 is 4x4.
Huh?
I think Mega Man Battle Network 6 was 4x4.
No. Oh, they're all 3x3s.
Okay.
So, in this game, you're moving around, you're dodging enemies, you're building a deck as you go through this roguelike mode, and you're trying to build a deck that synergizes well with your character. And it's like Slay the Spire kind of deck building where you kind of want to be selective of what you're picking. Though, you do have some benefits for having a bigger deck, and you have some detriments to having a bigger deck. So it's up to you to like pick whatever you think would be most optimal for you to finish the run. Each time you kill a boss, you have the choice to kill or spare them. If you spare them, they heal you and then give you like passive buffs throughout the remainder of your run. If you kill them, you get an artifact, which is more power, essentially. And depending on how you choose to kill or not kill enemies. The boss at the end of your run will change. So there's the wall, which the good part about the wall is that you can't miss hitting it. It's fucking huge. The bad part is it has like 16,000 HP and a bunch of attacks. You can fight the character Terra in like a super form. She has less health, but she's teleporting all over the place. She has a lot of tile cracking. Pretty tough boss. I've only fought and beat her once. And then I don't even know what the true genocide boss is because I haven't done that yet. But I think Tyler and Bradley have.
Genocide is. I can't believe you haven't done it yet. You are in for an amazing experience. So I would say you need to do genocide before you do true genocide.
Well,
Because there is
obviously,
something
because-
unique to experience.
Yeah, I know what happens in genocide. I don't kind of.
Oh,
I know it's something with Saffron, but I don't know.
No. And Saffron's not in a part of it. But you should definitely experience genocide before you experience true
y'all,
genocide.
Saffron's outfit you get for completing a pacifist run is like the reason I played this game.
Yeah, this game has costumes, so Bradley was sold. It's very easy
Oh my
to
God.
get Bradley into a game. Get a
These
cute
characters
girl-
are so fucking cute. I love all these characters.
Get a cute
Dude,
girl
there's
and
some-
give her a costume.
They're also like the amount of spells in the game is ridiculous.
There's
The amount
a
of
lot.
every single artifact is a reference to another game. Like we were talking about Risk of Rain 2 earlier. There's an artifact in this game called Transcendence that does the same thing as Transcendence does in Risk of Rain 2.
Yeah, and then there's like Thornmail which is the exact same picture of Thornmail from League of Legends and kind of does the same thing.
There's also the
So-
mana crystal, like the moon one from League of
Yeah.
Legends. There's a bunch of them from Battle Network, like Life Sword.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That made me happy to see that. And Soul Link and stuff like that. There's PK Fire, which I think is really fun.
And it's funny because the like artifact that applies Soul Link at the very beginning of the battle, I like the picture because it's a Game Boy Advance link cable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's great. So the bosses are all playable characters too, for the most part. And what's really cool is all the playable characters. They start with an artifact with 4 spells and a basic attack, and with that configuration, they make some pretty different kind of characters. So really, there's like 16 plus different builds you can start your run with, which I think is a really strong part of this game. The first thing I do, I just bought the game on PS4, despite the fact that I'm gonna shit on it later, but because it's just the formula is too good. So I bought it on PS4 as well, so I could 1 get trophies, and 2, the Switch version has some pretty bad slowdown, and
Yeah.
it actually kind of like can get you hit pretty badly sometimes, or like make you miss. The PS4 version and I believe the PC version only slow down the moment the gunner summons like her double rockets, like when she summons
Oh my
2
God.
rows of rockets. That's it though.
Dude, I straight up had the Switch version crash on me once.
Me too.
During
Oh,
a
I've
boss
had it
fight.
crash on me a handful of times.
You
I'm bad at the game, so it never crashed on me.
Hey.
Joe's bad. Yeah, so like the formula of Battle Network is just I've been preaching it to the ether for years now that it is a winning formula, and that is why, despite some flaws I have with the game, I still do some runs every once in a while. I bought the game twice to show my support for this company that stole my dream. So I was working on a Battle Network game in my personal time. We talked about how many of us are in the games industry, and I was making some good progress. And then I heard news that One Step from Eden was almost done, and that really killed my vibe. And then it came out, and then I just got completely crushed because it's like, how are you going to compete with a larger team who did a very good job at recreating this? I think the flaws I have with the game, they're not even that big. The problem, like, it's not flaws that other people would have. The problem is I've been thinking of this game before this game was created. I've been thinking of this game for like a decade. So I'm super hypercritical because it's like, I wouldn't do it like that, or I think the originals did this better or that better, or this does that or that better than the originals. So I'm very analytical about this game because I've thought about it a lot, but I think the roguelike mechanic is really good, but being the only way to play does lead to like a loss of potential. For example, the versus mode is really fun, but you can't customize what you get.
Which, like, come on!
If you could, that would be crazy. I'd be playing that so much. It doesn't have online.
Like, can you imagine online versus?
Oh, I'd be forcing Bradley to come over to play local co-op at least if you could customize.
It should be crazy.
But like, so it is limited in that way, and it's like, if you could build your own decks and like some other sort of single player. I also think they went a route. So there's a couple ways they could have taken this, and they went a route where it's more Twitch based, like bullet helly. And while that was an aspect of Battle Network, there was also a lot of like executing the strategy of your deck. In this game, it's a lot of dodging and finding your spots to shoot the attacks. And occasionally your synergy will line up where it's like, okay, I got the spells in the order I needed where I can get my poison, then double the poison, and then use the spell that will detonate the poison. And then when you do that, you feel great. But a lot of the times it's you just trying to roll around everywhere because they go crazy with some of these attacks. I personally prefer more strategy over bullet hell. But I will say they came up with some really fun patterns in this game. Like those bosses. And the problem is also like if you die to a boss, you can't rematch it, so you can't learn the pattern until you get back to it, which is really annoying when you get to the harder bosses. But like you really have to admire how each boss is very much doing something different. Like I really like it. I never get hit by it very often, but Shiso's move where he's using wind to try to move you into a trap, or the way Riva like throws a bunch of projectiles into the air, and then once they land on her, she shoots like this huge shield. So like it's pretty tough to dodge, or just like anything Silici does. I try to kill her early because she can get really obnoxious.
Dude, she's fucking crazy as a boss.
Yeah. I think a boss I've been underestimating is the gunner, because I'm really bad at that fight.
Like, she's really easy unless you fight her last. If you fight her last,
it's tough.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Gunner is actually a dude.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
I read
way.
the lore for that. I thought it was a girl too.
Wow.
But it's
I
actually
think you guys
a
are
dude.
thinking of the mechanic. Definitely a girl. But the gunner is a dude. Yeah.
The mechanic's definitely a girl.
Mechanic last. So here's the thing. I always save the mechanic for last whenever I do my Riva runs because I have Soul Link. And anytime she does her missiles, that is 580 damage instantly done to her.
Good shit. That's also how you cheese the shopkeeper, for anyone wondering. You can Soul Link the ice box.
So I do have some, like, there are obviously some things that are, like, way overpowered, and then there are some things that only go off. So, like, if you get certain artifacts or certain spells to, like, top off the build, like, Flow, for instance. Flow is really fun to synergize with because there's a lot of spells that give you flow. And how flow works is it's like you cast a spell, you gain 2 flow, and then the next spell is like when you have flow, it does this effect, and then it gives you more flow. Obviously, they're all supposed to flow together.
The deal with flow is even spells that don't use flow will take one of your flow stacks. So you're trying to get your deck to have a lot of flow so you're not wasting flow stacks.
Yeah, but all that kind of comes to like you trying to get the Infinity Cannon spell, which is really busted. What it does is it gives you this projectile that just keeps auto firing. And if you have flow, you'll get another Infinity Cannon. So you want to get like
otherwise it gets consumed. So you need to have flow, otherwise you can only use it once.
And so, like, I did a run, like, I do most of my runs with Riva, which she has a parry effect to her character, which is her secondary power. So, like, whenever you parry, you don't take damage, and then you gain shields the entire time. So, if you do a flow Infinity Cannon build with her, then you literally don't have to have any attack spells, and you just have Infinity Cannon and shield gaining. And then...
See, this is what it's all about.
And then there's an artifact that makes it to where every spell you cast gives you flow. So that's to top it off.
You can also build spell power into that, so all your little shots are hitting harder.
That's exactly what I did.
Tyler saw me using Infinity Cannon when I recently beat the game with I think it was Terra, but yeah, I had this crazy spell where you throw knives in every panel on your side, but these knives will crack your panels, which is exactly what you want when you're playing Terra. So you're just you're moving across those blades and cracking the panel and throwing the blades as you're moving. It worked out pretty well. Yo, Violetta's so hard to play. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she's big brain.
Violetta is the music character who takes 200 IQ to play. And then her unlockable, like, other abilities. So each character has 2 different ways to play, except the main character, Saffron, has 3 different ways to play. Violetta's second way to play is all about keeping a stack of poison on herself the entire time.
Oh my God.
Playing as her.
So as you hold the attack button, she will apply poison to herself and gain mana, I believe. Or is it shield? I think it's shield. So the way it works is you want to keep applying the poison so that way the poison doesn't ever tick down. You want to keep refreshing the poison by applying it to yourself continuously. She also starts with that artifact where she heals 160 HP but starts with 80 poison or whatever. So you're already starting with 80 poison and you cannot let that hit or else you will die. So that's like crazy. And then her other build is like, on paper you could do a fragile build or a Trinity build or a mana hungry build, but in practice you're not going to be, because it's just so hard to manage it all. Also, they nerfed it so her shield can only get 60. Apparently she could get infinite shield in the past. Now that would have been...
That would have been fucking nuts.
I think I want to go ahead and, like, kind of ask y'all, do you think poison's a little OP?
Yes.
No, people think it's weak. Actually, the devs were like, I saw a post, I checked their Reddit, and they were like, hey, are you going to fix poison or make it better? And the dev was like, I like where poison is right now.
There's definitely better builds.
I think there are too, but, like, I go Reva poison, and that's what I beat full genocide with, and I just kind of, I don't feel good about beating it.
Oh,
I think it probably feels really good on that character because I think poison works well with Reva, because the problem with poison is once you apply it, you have to wait long enough for it to do the damage.
Yeah.
And Reva can survive long enough for it to do the damage.
Yeah. So, like, how I ended up doing the last fight is Willer was like, oh, you kind of, like, have your things set up and, like, you, like, do them in a command order. And, like, when your spells line up, it works nice. Man, the way I had my deck set up at the end, I was literally just mashing A and B until I reloaded every single time, because I had these cards that damaged myself, and I had this artifact that whenever I took damage, I gained mana. And so I was damaging myself, applying poison stacks, and I was so I was just spamming all of my spells until I reloaded and dodging attacks. Like, I wasn't even focusing on which order I did them in. I was just dodge, reflect, poison spam.
And I mean, I think that's partially like the bullet heli problem. Like, when you get to the end of the game and you see the boss is standing still or you're fighting the wall, you just start mashing buttons because you're like, I can't think right now. Let me just throw a bunch of spells and try to over DPS them and then get focusing on dodging, because you have to keep track of dodging these insane patterns that are learnable, but they're crazy hard, like, to learn them because you have to get the whole run to get there. So you're just kind of like throwing spells at the boss, which is fun, but I think that's what I was saying, like, it takes away some of the strategy that could be there.
I'm just saying, final boss is amazing. Like, the true final ending boss is, like, they really were like, man, what could we do that could top something like even Sans from Undertale for a genocide run? They did a good job.
What? That's bold words, because Sans is an amazing boss.
Okay, Sans is a good boss with an amazing soundtrack.
No, Sans is an amazing boss.
I think it's an amazing boss, too.
I'm down to do this. We don't have much to talk about this week.
Sans was really good, and I really like the soundtrack. Like, the main reason I actually only played Undertale because I really liked the soundtrack, and then I ended up really enjoying the game. But The soundtrack was just something that I loved so
That's a
much about the
banger.
game.
Welcome to Undertale
yeah.
Cast.
Hey.
As far as Eden, I'm a lot more cool with the bullet hell nature of the game. The only places where it starts falling apart for me is these game developers didn't put any of their skill points into UX design. I feel like there's a lot of places where the UX is a little bit weird to me, where I'm sitting here thinking, thank God for the internet, because there's a bunch of shit I would have never found out on my own. Like all the mechanics that go into, like when you're choosing your route, sometimes there's a red route on the world map, right?
I'm still not sure.
First of all, why does that route appear in some runs and not others? It appears if you beat the boss of the previous world while you have full health.
Wait, what?
I had no
So
idea.
that's how you make the red routes appear. And then I'm like, what the fuck does the red route do? One thing I was able to gather is if you go down one of the red routes, the shop, you buy stuff using health instead of money. And I'm like, that can't be it, right? That's not it. Also, your luck stat is increased substantially while you go down that route, but as a
What the
consequence,
fuck?
everything's harder. And then there's also other stuff, like all the chests are going to be the chests that have 666 health that damage you a shitload.
The what? I've never even seen that.
There's a bunch of stuff, and like you would never know this. And also, at every campsite, there's a little bunny rabbit, right? And I'm like, what the fuck does killing the bunny rabbit do? Is this like required for the true ending? Turns out, all the bunny rabbit does is if you kill it, you gain 1 luck. And I'm like, I don't think it would have hurt my enjoyment of the game as a player if you just put like plus one luck on the screen when you kill it. And then you're like, what the fuck does luck even do? Because your first instinct is like, oh, you know, it makes you more likely to get rare stuff, which is correct, but that's not the only thing it does. It also increases the difficulty of the game. And there's thresholds for luck where it's like, oh, above this luck, you're guaranteed to get this level spell. You're guaranteed to get at least 1 addition to your spell. But like, there's nowhere in the game that tells you what luck does. Like, you don't know that it increases the difficulty of the game,
Did
right?
you know the first release of the game did not have skill preview, as I recall? They had to add that after effect, which is why skill preview sometimes bugs out. Like, specifically, the skill preview for this spell that shoots out the 2 shards, and then they blow up.
Yeah.
There's like a red line around those shards. That red line makes
then,
the
yeah,
background opaque, so you can see the victory text under. It's so weird.
Oh my
Anyways, pretty goofy.
All I'm gonna say
Also-
is it is a nice feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
I've also had where it shows me the wrong thing too.
what? I haven't seen that.
I had it once where like there's the one that's if you have a structure, you cast a spell and all your structures shoot like a thing that's like 4 meters away.
Mhm.
And what it was showing was it was just showing the character putting 2 boxes down in front of it and behind it, and then it would just replay after doing that.
maybe
I was just like,
maybe it's some bug
So,
of some
wait,
sort.
I'm gonna say the thing about luck is I didn't know it made the game harder, but anytime I'm available to get luck, like there's this artifact that's called goldfish, and it's just like 15 luck.
Yeah.
I always take that,
You gotta
like
take goldfish.
without a doubt.
What are your thoughts on that artifact where it's like set your HP to 1 but gain 1,000 shield?
That's transcendence.
Yeah, okay.
Never take it.
Ah,
Never take it.
I kind of
Nope.
like it. I kind of
Nope.
like it.
Hey,
Yes.
poison goes through
Yeah,
shield.
poison and ice goes through shields. Just don't get hit, idiot.
Oh yeah, you can't get hit 3 times by ice.
Yeah, but
Real
on the flip side, especially near the end of the game, having 1,000 shield every battle is more likely more health than you're gonna have for that battle. And shield you can raise.
I'm just saying, as Riva in the first world, find a spell that you consume game 5 HP. I always had like 500 shield and like 800 or 900 HP every single round.
Cool.
Easy peasy.
I'm glad.
Easy peasy.
You guys keep playing the same characters and mastering them. Even in the PS4 version that I restarted, the first thing I do is unlock every skill set with every character, which means having to play fucking Violet and Terra, which are not easy, but it is the price.
I mean, I don't have Violetta's second power set or her cosmetic, and I don't have the witch's outfit with Saffron. That's it. Otherwise, I've unlocked everything else.
The thing I want to do, I don't know if I want to do all the hell shit, but I would
No.
like.
That's That's for sociopaths.
Yeah, I'm sane. I would like to get all the skill sets and then fucking do at least each run with each skill set. But I think that's
If
good on
anybody-
Eden. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good game. Definitely a good pickup. I think it's only like, I think we all got it for like $10 on Switch.
Is it 15 or 20? I think it's 20.
I think it's 20. It was on sale for
Yeah.
15, and then we all had like coins to get it
Hell yeah.
for like $10 or $8. Like, definitely, I feel bad for not paying full price for it.
Which is why you just got to buy it twice, like I did.
Fair, fair.
It'll make some splashes in our Game of the Year chat, but we'll see where it goes.
Oh yeah.
As that approaches,
Mhm.
because it's already September. What the fuck? Where did the year go?
Do you remember? The last bit we could talk about.
Yeah, let's do a quickie because we're an hour and 15. We
We got like
something
we got
quick.
like 30 minutes. I was just gonna pitch out some games that have been announced, upcoming, that people may be excited about, that we may be excited about.
I want to talk more. Like we could. There's more than games that have got me excited lately. I'm excited for the new Batman movie.
Yeah,
I watched
that-
a Matt Pat film theory on it today that very much intrigued me. The information I saw in that was very intriguing for what this movie could be.
Man,
I'm
Spelunky
very
2,
happy.
Motherfucker.
Spelunky 2, that's the game that's got me excited. I think that's the last exciting game of the
y'all,
year.
I fucking hate Batman
I know you're lame.
so
We know-
much.
everyone in this
We know.
podcast that has listened to it knows you're lame, all right? It's the meme
Dude, like-
it's the meme of the guy who says yes.
Even me,
Yes.
the fanboy who chills Worm all over the place, even despite that, I'm like, yeah, Batman's my favorite superhero. Like he's just he's just the coolest
He's cool,
one.
man.
Skitter's all the way up here, and then like Batman.
If you love Skitter so much, why don't you talk about her? Oh wait, you
Why
want
don't
to
you
do a whole
marry her?
special thing.
Wait a minute.
So, like, we got some games come out. We got Spellbreak. We got Marvel's Avengers that none of us have played.
Well, I played the demo. The thing with Marvel's Avenger, I kind of like the Destiny bullshit in it. I think because I some of those are costumes, and I think those are cool costumes.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of like having my Black Widow or my Captain America
Mhm.
who has this moveset. The thing is, the combat kind of sucks. So I learned that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna care about having my own moveset when the movesets are lame.
Yeah, I played that demo or open beta or whatever. I played through like the first level and half of the second one, and I was like, this isn't really doing anything to me. For me, it's just nothing feels intriguing. Like I'd rather just be playing Devil May Cry 5 or
that's
something
not
or
fair.
Monster
Like
Hunter.
in any situation,
Yeah.
you'd rather be
Yeah.
playing Devil May Cry 5 because it's great.
I know.
All right,
But,
let's
like-
keep rapid firing. We're gonna keep rapid firing.
That's fine, keep
Spelunky
going.
2 comes out on Tuesday.
Oh
Okay,
my
me and Bradley
Comes
are
out Tuesday?
very excited for this. Bradley, will you come play with me?
Yes.
No, we're
Is
gonna
it
all
on?
play it online.
Oh, it has online?
I'm still
I don't
gonna come
know.
over.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Have y'all played
Um,
Spelunky 1, you and Joe?
Yes. Yeah.
You saw me stream Spelunky
Oh,
one.
yeah, it was
Remember
horrible.
he
Oh,
kept
yeah.
dying?
Terrible. You never even got to the jungle. But that's how it goes. That
Wait.
game's hard as
No,
shit.
I got there once.
Oh.
I got there once.
We got next Friday, Super Mario 3D All Stars.
All right, I want to
That's
talk about
That's
this.
Friday.
Oh god.
No,
Why
Brad-
is it only available for 6 months?
Bradley,
know.
you got to talk about your company's sins this time.
Why? Look,
Look,
nobody ever imply Nintendo's anything but perfect. Okay, but I'll allow it for the next like 5 minutes, right? I don't understand why you would ever do a limited run of a
release.
digital product. Because like, not even for Super Mario All Stars, just this past month, Nintendo, a lot of people were fucking mad at them, right? Because they took Pikmin 3 off the Wii U digital store, and people are like, why the fuck would you do that? Just leave it on there so people can give you money. And everyone got mad at Nintendo, and they put it back on the store begrudgingly. And I'm like, why'd you take it off in the first place? So why is Super Mario 3D All Stars something I suspect a shitload of Nintendo fans would buy a limited run thing?
it's so what I think happened. First of all, there is no excuse for digital timed exclusives. That's weird. But what I think happens is we found out that this game was delayed by like 6 months. So what I think they were going for is it releases around March, and then you have a full year to get it as opposed to 6 months to get it. Either way, bullshit. What they're probably gonna do is split these games into three and then sell them individually, is what I would assume. There's no reason to let these updated ports just disappear unless they're literally that stupid. Ugh, that's stupid. Sorry.
They could be
which they
trying
might
to
be.
inflate the resale value of Switches with those games on there.
That's very likely. Nintendo is kind of weird with this shit. I don't know. It's always one step forward, one step back. But they
All
got
right,
Kirby
so
though.
we got
Sorry, one more thing about the Mario thing. I was really looking forward to this game contingent that it had Galaxy 2 because that's the one I'm really itching to replay. But I will totally buy Mario 3D World when that comes out.
Yeah,
I want
God,
yeah.
I'm so happy.
We got Super Mario Bros. 35 on the Switch on October 1st.
I wanna try that out. That seems neat.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Crash Bandicoot 4, October 2nd.
Looks
I'm
pretty-
actually
looks
interested in
cool.
getting that game. I've never played a Crash Bandicoot
It looks
game.
super
It looks
quality.
pretty.
Crash Bandicoot was the first game I had for the PS2. It's the one that everyone hates, apparently. That game was great. I don't know what people are talking about.
Is that Crash in Time or something like that?
That's the Wrath of Cortex. You fight all these elemental dudes, and it was hard as shit, and it squeezed my little 12-year-old nuts. It was a good time.
We got and these are like by month, and then we're gonna go with stuff that's been like unannounced or like unknown. We have Star Wars Squadrons on
Yeah!
October 2nd as well.
That's soon, huh?
I
So-
already pre-ordered that game. I completely forgot I did that when
Joe's wearing a Star Wars shirt right now.
I am.
I bought VR and I'm buying a HOTAS just for this game.
Buying a
Damn.
HOTAS.
I'm
would if I
buying a
could.
HOTAS,
What the
and then
fuck is
if
a
it's not
HOTAS?
running well, so that's the flight stick with the joystick and the thruster.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So I want to be fully immersed in this Star Wars Squadrons. I'm so excited. I'm afraid my computer isn't going to be able to run it well, and so I've been needing a new processor for a long time. And then the new GeForce RTX 30,000 series got announced, and like
3,000 things, but yeah.
blew everybody's mind. So I'm like, okay, well, I might as well get a new graphics card. And then it's like, oh, I have to get a new motherboard if I'm going to get a new CPU. It's like, oh, I'm building a new computer. Great.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, and I was like, shit. So I'm also apparently going to be getting a new desktop for it.
Yay! I guess I don't know.
I hope that
You should
game
get a new
lives up
apartment,
to
too.
your lives up to your investment in it. Because holy shit! But if
I-
we're gonna talk
I
about Star
hope
Wars
so.
Squadron, we have to shout out the fact that we have a friend who worked on the game. Shout
Yeah.
outs, shout outs to our friend Alex for his work on
Yo.
Squadrons. I believe he was a balance QA designer,
Mhm.
something
I'm
along
a
those lines.
specialist.
Yeah, specialist.
This game better be balanced as fuck.
Otherwise, I
Well,
know exactly who
We
to
have a
complain
bitch to
to.
Alex.
Yeah.
I will
Um,
break my oath of silence on our Discord and complain to him about it on the Electronic Games channel.
There you go.
So there's a lot of these. We're gonna say the ones that we're probably worth talking about. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit.
Okay,
How do we feel about that?
Dude,
That's
this
a toy
is pretty
one,
big
right?
brain. This is pretty big
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
if I
I want it
had
for Christmas so badly.
If only
if I
four.
had large smooth floors, I would buy this so hard and fast, but I don't, so I won't.
I think they'll probably run in carpets. Like I have to imagine.
I
They
hope
count
so.
it.
A
for it.
GoPro to an RC car.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It looks fucking cool.
What I
is
do
I'm
like about
saying.
it, you're not gonna get ramps. I mean, you're gonna create your own ramps, but you're not gonna get like flight and all that shit. I do like how they're incorporating like shells and bananas. But one thing I particularly like, this game seems to have like some unique mechanics to this game. Like I saw like a blizzard, like a frosty blizzard kind of hit
Yeah.
the screen, or like a ghost thing show up. So it seems like they're doing some unique stuff to make up for the fact that you're not going to be moving at 200 cc with your little car.
I wonder if they took in pet hazards as like track things.
I mean,
how that would work
they
out.
would just be because your car will flip over. Like physical things still matter to the car, so I think that's
That's
pretty neat.
true. I guess.
Okay, so you have two carts. You have Mario and Luigi. Here's what I'm wondering is like I'm sure this crossed
Yes.
somebody's mind at a certain point is why didn't they make like an empty cart for amiibo slots?
Oh my god, Tyler! Because you're a fool. Because that would make amiibos worth it, and that's not. They're all about money making. You see.
Man.
So
No,
what's gonna
Tyler,
happen?
you're-
What's
no,
gonna happen is you're
because,
gonna
Tyler-
get carts with Link in them, but you're gonna have to buy the cart with Link in it. It's not gonna be you're gonna put your
Yeah.
Link in.
Or they spread it out where like they give out a set like they did the first 6 Mario people, and then they release the Amiibo one. So you're gonna have to guarantee to buy 2 because
Dude,
you want to get.
let us make decisions for Nintendo for a year. Guarantee they triple their fucking profits. All right,
I'm
they
just
hate money.
curious, like, what were the limitations with that, like, project-wise? Because we know why. Like, we understand, like, there was probably something that made that too difficult, or wasn't, time constraints didn't
Nah,
allow.
dog, that was a business decision, and who are we to blame the company that's fucking killing it this year? Nintendo's.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they could pull these stunts and these shenanigans because they're just fucking riding high off of Animal Crossing.
All right, we got November now.
Oh god.
We got
Cyberpunk.
So we're gonna start off with Paw Patrol, Mighty Pup, Save Adventure Bay,
Podcast over. What is this?
Already?
and then we're gonna move on to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Any of us playing this?
No.
No,
That
Skip.
shit
I
ever.
have.
All right.
I have Origins. I've never played it, but
So, in November we also have Destiny 2 Beyond Light.
More Destiny 2 content.
I quit Destiny 2 this year because
What?
they have adopted the game as a hobby model where like as much as we play League, you have to play Destiny. And
What?
it creates so like the way Destiny works now is with their seasonal content, if you're not playing, you
Gotcha.
actually have or things you are missing out on. And it didn't used to be that way. So what they've done is create nearly an endless supply of content for the people who are playing the game. But what it does is those who want to play it more casually now have FOMO instilled in them,
Yeah.
and they feel more urgency to play the game. Whereas it used to be this game that you could play at your own pace. You could play the content through as you wanted to, unlock things, but they're like, oh, now you can do this weekly dungeon to unlock this exotic weapon, and the game is all about collecting
get it.
everything. Like, you
Why
want to
talk about this when Monster Hunter World's final announcement was released? And that game will cycle out content and give you all you need with these amazing boss fights, and I'm ready to get killed by fucking Fatalis.
we gotta kill Alatreon and we gotta end up killing Fatalis. Like we
And-
have to do that.
And
We have to.
Raging or Furious Rajang.
And Furious
I vote to make our channel's icon my Monster Hunter character's ass.
I'm down. We'll do it for a week. Yeah.
We got Bradley
We'll
to
do
play
it.
Monster Hunter under the
for a little bit.
guise of booty cosplaying.
Y'all,
It
my
works.
character's so cute.
Bradley, there's more booty cosmetics you can unlock.
Did
You just
y'all-
gotta kill things.
Did y'all see that Prince of Persia got an announcement? They haven't had a game in forever. That's
Oh,
pretty cool.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the first one's getting a remake, and it
looks
looks
bad.
terrible. Like, yeah.
But at least it's some Prince of Persia content for those boys. If we're gonna
On
talk
the
about
flip
anything,
side,
we should talk about Xbox Series S, which I did not
That's what
know.
was next.
I did not fucking know that was a new like the next gen console. I thought it was the slim
Wait, yeah.
version of the
So
Xbox One.
Is this their equivalent of the PS5?
Yes.
No, no,
so
no.
yeah,
it-
okay.
I got this.
Okay.
I got this.
I got 3 different answers.
No, let me do it. So the Xbox, so the next generation of Xbox is the Xbox S, X, and the Xbox S.
What?
No,
There's no
You did it
X.
wrong.
But-
It's the Xbox Series X. Is the PS5 and whatever. The Xbox
Yeah.
Series S is a slimmer version of the Xbox Series X, aka so it's like a PS5 Slim.
That's what I was getting to. It's the
Do it better.
completely digital version of the S, of
But-
the X.
But it's
Yeah.
not just completely digital. It's also lower specs, but it can run
Mhm.
everything, and it's still very powerful. So what
Here's
that
the thing about
means-
the S is it doesn't upscale to 8K, which the X does. And it has a 512 SSD. That is the only difference.
I saw a thing that also like the power, like the processing power as well. Anyways, what
I
this
saw that
means
too.
is that you can go into the next gen for $300 with the Xbox, which I think is really cool. And also, they have a thing where like if you bundle it with Game Pass, you can pay monthly instead of buying up front. So I think that will sell a lot. And then 2 years in, they're gonna realize that there are no fucking Xbox games. That'll be where they get you. But you'll have your Game Pass, so you can play Assassin's Creed every day.
Here's the rant. Here's the rant I gave in our Discord, right? If you're gonna name your game console, either do it like PlayStation and name it sequentially. That makes sense, right? PS5's after the PS4. Like anybody who knows numbers gets that, right? Or maybe slightly more confusing, but still pretty understandable. Nintendo, just name it something totally different each time. In fact, the only time Nintendo deviated from that formula with the Wii U, nobody knew what the fuck it was.
Not even Bradley.
The problem is, Xbox does the Wii U mistake every goddamn time. If you told, like, the last Xbox that I knew it was a new console coming out was the Xbox One. If you told me
bad name to begin with, but
like if you've told me like 7 new Xboxes came out between then and now, I'd believe you. I still don't know how many new gens after Xbox One there were.
There have been like 4 Xboxes since the Xbox One.
I don't know how many next gens.
There's been like 4 Xbox Ones, which is kind of ironic.
I'll get it.
I can't wait for in a few years when we play a game. It's like, all right, here's all the Xbox series. Put them in order. Which one came first? Which one came last?
The point is,
no one's gonna be able to do.
If you don't care about first party or exclusive games or just good games in general, I think if you just care about third party games, you should get the Series S. I think because it's pretty cheap and you're gonna run everything you need. So what I think is gonna happen is the PS4 it does not have a Series S equivalent. What it does have
PS5.
So the PS5 has the disc version and the discless version. So the pure digital version and the disc version, but that discless version is the exact same PS5 as the disc version, so they can't afford to go down to $300. So I'm gonna guess their pricing plan will be $400 and then $500.
Here's my thing: I think the One S is way better deal than any of the new consoles by far.
It depends how much you appreciate.
It's an Xbox though, dude.
Here's my thing. First of all, we're gonna say Xbox has the definitive better controller.
No.
Whoa.
I hate that.
No.
Okay, I can give you one argument that's just gonna shut you up right now.
Walk
Fighting
into
games.
a game
Fighting
studio.
games. Done. Yeah, because
Walk into a game studio, and what are they testing games with?
with
Xbox controllers.
Because it's it's really natively supported and easy to use.
By Windows, by the company that made Windows, that also made the Xbox.
The most comfortable to hold controller ever for me was the Xbox 360 controller. Sucks for fighting games. I thought it was super comfy to hold. Xbox One controller just does not feel good in my hands.
If you're gonna have a controller with a shitty D-pad, play with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller that feels like butter in your hands. It's such a good controller. It feels like you're touching sex. But the PS5 is a tried and true, good D-pad, good analog sticks, and the touchscreen actually has some fun uses. I get to swipe up on it and summon the wind and Ghost of Tsushima, and it feels nice.
Or play your flute.
But still, okay, what I was gonna say was, I think Game Pass is the best. I think Game Pass is better than exclusives.
That's the best idea in the history of Xbox's bitch-ass ideas. It's actually fucking cool.
Like, you're talking about exclusives on PS5, like, fine, I get it. But a lot of those have, like, eventually, like, except for, like, the tried and true Sony platforms like God of War.
It doesn't matter if they eventually go to PC, that's fine. PC is its own weird landscape.
But no, PC is also Game Pass. Those go on to Game Pass.
I know.
And you're talking about fifth generation. You're talking about fourth generation games. You're talking about third generation games. All are going to be on Game Pass.
All right, here's the deal with Game Pass. You buy Game Pass and you have access to all those games but you don't have time or the need to play all those games. Like, that is for power video gamers who can actually play 8 hours a day and they want to try everything. I will just go buy what I want, and I'm fine with that.
Or it's for people that aren't connected to the game world at all and just want to play whatever's available, so they don't.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's a really good casual deal. I was saying, if you're a casual gamer who really enjoys third-party games, you should get the Series S with the Game Pass. I think that's a great deal.
But I'm not going to get the Series S. If I want an Xbox game, I just buy it.
Yeah.
And it's on my PC.
I'm super thankful, right? Because they're finally making a new Fable game, but there's no fucking way I'm going to buy a whole Xbox console just for it.
I don't like PC gaming. There's just a disconnect with me having to sit down on my laptop, and it might be because I enjoy playing games either handheld or on a TV, but not on a computer for some reason. And you have to connect your controller, and it disconnects. So I won't be playing. But either way, if I wanted to play Fable, I could play it on PC. The point is, Persona 6 is going to come out on the PS5. So I don't really have a choice, dude.
All I know is
fine. I'm just
Super Mario 60 billion gonna come out on the Nintendo Revolution, so that's what I'm gonna buy.
I'm saying, like, all of my family are like casual gamers.
Yeah.
I think the Xbox One S is such a good deal.
Absolutely.
I think Game Pass, the Netflix of gaming, is just. I think it's comparable to PS5. Absolutely, hands down.
Y'all remember Stadia?
No.
Boy, do you ever get those YouTube ads about Stadia? I get so many, and they go, Stadia. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Another thing, we got an Xbox launch title. We got Yakuza Like a Dragon.
What? On Xbox?
Xbox Series X launch title.
You can't play the other Yakuza games, and also it's coming for the PlayStation and PC.
Hey, man. Other Yakuza games are on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I believe they just got added last year, right? As far as I know. Anyways, I'm excited for Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'll be playing it on my whatever I get it on.
Y'all, I want to tell y'all what I'm fucking excited about, alright? This is the best news I've gotten all fucking year. So, after me and Willard played 999, it had the brief pleasure that every game gets after I beat it for the first time of being my favorite game for a week or two. Still love it. 999 is probably still top 3. My actual favorite game, though, is Pathologic 2, right?
Ooh.
New content coming to Pathologic 2, and I'm going to explain what the fuck it is, okay? In Pathologic 1, there were 3 different campaigns you could play. 3 characters, all in the same story. And the thing is, whichever character you chose, you would meet up with the other 2 characters in that story, and they would do things where you're like, what the fuck, they're a terrible person. But then you would play the other character's story, and you would end up doing that same thing, and you're like, okay, well, I didn't know they had all this going on. So it was kind of cool. Pathologic 1 had these 3 different concurrent stories going on. For Pathologic 2, which is a very weird idea of both a remake and a sequel, and also not either of those things, they chose one of those characters and fleshed out that one campaign into being like a full experience. So you don't have 3 characters, you have 1, but they put all of their fucking heart and soul into that one campaign. So what they're doing is, people, ever since Pathologic 2 came out, people are like, man, it'd be really cool if they did a DLC eventually to add one of the other characters from Pathologic 1 to have that full experience again. But people weren't sure they were going to do it, and the devs finally said, yes, it is coming. We are adding another one of the characters to Pathologic 2 as like a full, independent, distinct campaign, and I'm very happy. 1, because it's just more Pathologic 2 for me to play, and 2, because I love the premise of this story. The premise is you are a doctor who your lifelong goal is to basically cure death. You don't want death to be a thing anymore. And you have a pretty promising lead. You hear about this little step village where apparently there's a guy who is immortal. He's been alive for a very long time. He can't die. And also in that same village is a very novel doctor who like has all these medical techniques that no one else in the world has heard about. So you're like, oh my God, in my quest to defeat death, this could be the place to go. So you show up, and within the first hour that you show up, you find out that the immortal guy died, and also that doctor is dead. And that's how it kicks off. And like Pathologic's another one of those things where I spoiled myself a little bit on it before starting it. And I just love how the story goes. So I'm just very glad that my favorite game is getting another campaign.
Speaking of Pathologic 2, I played a little bit of it with Bradley to lure him into 999. That's a fun. It was a stressful time actually. That's not a fun game. I didn't even get to the hard decisions, but I was not. But I was not enjoying it. But I enjoyed that I wasn't enjoying it. I kind of want to go back, but man, it runs bad. So
if I want to use game design language, there's a concept of like the core gameplay loop, right? Which I think the time frame that people talk about varies between 30 seconds or a minute, but I think typically it's like within any given 30-second stretch of time, there should be like a consistent loop of like a player's doing this activity and receiving this amount of fun points in their brain, right?
Yeah.
So the developers of Pathologic 2 and also Pathologic 1, they've talked a little bit about this before, where they do believe in the game, like the core gameplay loop, but they don't think what you're having to give the player is fun. They think it has to be engagement. And they're like, engagement can come from fun or it can come from stress. So they chose stress.
In my first hour of playing Pathologic 2 with Bradley, I got to this village. Everyone just immediately started hating me. I couldn't even go to a store. I couldn't go anywhere because I was getting lynched everywhere. And then my guy started getting hungry. And then I got into a fight. And then right before I died, I passed out of hunger. And then got saved by some hobos. And now I want to save these, I want to help these children murder a man. It was a very uncomfortable time. But
that is the most forgiving of 11 days.
Right, I'm on day one, so
I'm very excited for a new campaign. For this
While we're talking about old games, I'm gonna take a minute on Civ 6.
It'll be your last thing,
dude. Civ 6.
And sorry we didn't make it to Cyberpunk or Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. We'll probably talk about those when they come out.
Yeah, we got time.
And then there was only one. There's one last game coming out this year, and that was Dragon Quest IX: Echoes of an Elusive Age, and that's all the
last year.
That's 11.
That's 11. That was last year.
What did I say?
Oh, I think the stuff they added to the Switch version is coming to the other versions.
Dragon Quest. I thought you said Dragon Age. I was like, I
might have said it.
There's not either of those.
I'm looking at Dragon, and there was another game that had Age in it. I don't know. Oh no. Yeah, it says Elusive Age, so it's like Dragon Age, Elusive Age.
They are making a Dragon Age, and they showed the most early footage I've ever seen a company show.
I saw that. That was hilarious. They showed like a Unity box build.
They're like, we're doing it. Look at all of our amazing people working on the game.
I kind of appreciate that though. Yeah. Like, I don't like bullshit.
I mean, I would have enjoyed seeing a box build of Metroid 4 or Bayonetta at this point, at least.
Oh, dude, call me in 5 years when they have I don't know.
I'm so tilted. Like, Beyond Good and Evil 2, that's not a game. That doesn't exist.
Oh, that's supposed to exist. I forgot about that. What happened?
I did too. I was so excited about that game.
Yeah, you were.
Civ 6.
Anyway, Civ 6. The game that actually exists and is actually good.
This game came out in 2018, 2017?
Yes. It came out it came out while I was in college.
And I haven't played Gathering Storm or Rise and Fall. And hot damn, these two DLCs are... Oh my god, this came out
2016.
Civilization always has so much content, so much replayability. And these two DLCs basically, they Monster Hunter Iceborne'd it, where they kind of doubled the amount of world content, the amount of diplomacy you can do with other nations. I've been having a real good time with it. And I haven't even made it to endgame yet. I think the furthest I've made it is the medieval age.
Dude, wow. You're not kidding about these DLCs. An unenlightened person might be under the impression that the only thing Civ DLC adds is new empires, right?
Mm-mm.
I couldn't believe it because I'd played Civ 6 a lot, before these past week or two, but I didn't have any DLC. I get these DLCs, and it adds like a World Congress that all the players participate in. It adds like the mechanic of assigning governors to cities, and each governor has like certain skill sets and bonuses that they give. I was like, these are actually like totally game-changing game mechanics that they add.
As someone that bought the game originally and has followed it, like the original DLCs that did come out for the game were just civilization packs, but they were like, for the next few months, like for DLC, just expect civilization packs while we work on the next kind of big update. And that's what they did. And they even had a thing where they had a season pass, or like if you buy $10 more in this game, you will get every civilization that comes out until the big expansion, which is great. And that's what I did. So when Rise and Fall came out, people liked it. It wasn't great. It still was good. It just was like, oh, there's not as much of a big impactful change on like the surface from which you can tell. A lot of like under the hood stuff changed, and a lot of other things you have to think about, but like there wasn't a big impact. Get the Gathering Storm, and like it completely changed the game. It was great. Gathering Storm is one of the best DLCs they've ever made for the series, and because you get like the ozone layer, you get like hurricanes and climate change going on. You have like emergency.
Yeah, they added climate change and energy consumption to the game. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Dude, and I also, like, a very small thing that I've always wanted that they fucking added, right, is rivers and mountains they'll have names. And it's just, I don't know, it's a very small thing that makes it a lot more enjoyable to, like,
I could see that
have control over this
difference.
river.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, dude, by the way, also, some of the wonders they have in the game now are so specific for the requirements to be built. I'm a little frustrated, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, that's really cool. And it's like, because it's like historically accurate a little bit, you know? Like, if you want to, like, they have engineering project wonders, and it's like, if you want to build the Golden Gate Bridge, you need to build it over one singular water tile between two cities that are on either side. And it's like, when would you ever do that? But also at the same time, it's like, you know, you did it. And some of them look really cool.
Go ahead.
I think from a person who doesn't care about min-maxing and just wants to enjoy a good civilization experience, it's really cool to meet those requirements.
I agree. And also, like, on the min-maxing and just kind of really trying to play it as like hard as you can side, something about Civ 5 was that Civ 5, wait until the late game to really figure out what the fuck you were doing and like how you're gonna win. I feel like in Civ 6, though, you really need to think about, like, if you really want to win and win big, you have to be like, all right, what am I doing this game? What does my civilization do? Where am I? What am I next to? And all this other kind of cool stuff. It has a lot more, like, you have to think a lot more about building, like, city placement now, because the big change from 5 to 6 is that, like, you build stuff on the outside of your tiles. So you modify the outside of your tiles more than you modify your city itself. So you'd be like, well, if I want science, I need to settle next to mountains, because for every mountain that's next to the science district, I'm going to produce more science. And I really, 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 really like that a lot.
So here's also, like, a really cool thing is, if you want the game mechanics, but you don't care about the civilizations too much, you can buy the base game. I think it's, for the past week, it's been on sale for like $15 through their website. And then you can just buy Gathering Storm. You get the civilizations, but Gathering Storm gives you all the mechanics from Rise and Fall. And so it's like, you can just get that, and you don't have to worry about playing as those civilizations.
Yeah, man. One thing I enjoy about playing this game, because we've been playing it with like a shitload of our friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ways to enjoy this game, like, while you all are playing together.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people play this game probably as it's maybe more intended as a strategy game.
Yeah.
Where they think about what their civilization excels at, and they, maximize their culture or like maximize their military strength. And it's a strategy game. But then, for me and a few other people, I play it like it's a sandbox game where I'm just like, oh, if I was actually ruling this country, what decision would I make? And I don't know, it's just fun to have my own little empire.
Yeah, we're playing with friends, and we probably will never go for a domination victory unless it's like two people teaming up to take over everybody else until it's just them two, and then they figure it out from there. But like, I had this city state, and someone started a war with that city state because they couldn't go past that city state, and I was like, I don't like that. I have issues with that. I will conquer you.
Yeah.
And then somebody else was like, oh, I'll help you out. And I'm like, I don't like that. I will conquer you. But then they had better armies than me, so I just kind of had to be bitch made and back down.
And then you have me, who's just like, Alex, if you come in and spread your religion, I am just going to come over and start burning all your cities, and I know I can do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what? It's like, yep. If you step inside my borders right now, I will literally just go to war to you, and I will burn everything.
Good game. Good content. Good worth.
Yeah, it's all right.
Great
See,
Thanks for joining us for our very impromptu podcast.
Yeah. I think that's good. That was a healthy podcast, a little longer than our usual.
Yeah, we talked. You know what? We had a lot more to talk about than I thought we would.
Yeah. Well, we just kind of winged it. And hey, guess what? When we're friends, we can just kind of talk about things. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, well, I like talking to you guys.
Thanks for coming today, gals and pals.
And thanks to all the listeners out there.
Yeah.
Hope y'all are staying COVID free.
Yeah, and
Play some video games.
I was gonna say something about gender reveal parties, but just don't be a dumbass. That's all I got.
Yeah, you know what?
That's what I can leave you with. All right, goodbye, everyone. Have a good day, night.
Hey, what did we talk about before One Step from Eden?
Nothing.